Good morning. I'm Nick Pappas, editorial page editor at the Telegraph, and I'd like to welcome you to the studios of Nashua High School South, where for the next 60 minutes, the Telegraph editorial board is going to talk policy and politics with Ron Paul, the Republican congressman from Texas and a candidate for president of the United States. Congressman, welcome to Nashua. Thank you for joining us. Our senior political reporter, Kevin Landrigan, will ask the first question.
Congressman, I want to start with this fundraising bonanza you've had in the last week. Do you think a lot of it is driven by people who support your position on the war? Is it due to your views on the Constitution? All of the above? What do you think is out there that's generating this kind of support?
I think it's all of the above. I think the attention getter is the war because it's a big issue. But I think that prompts a lot of people to go and look at our website and say, oh, you know, I agree with these other issues too and these other positions, and then they see how I work that into the financial conditions of the country, and I talk about the Constitution, and they bring it all together, and they end up telling me, boy, that makes a lot of sense, and then they come on board. But this last fundraiser was pretty astounding. I think it surprised everybody. And to me, the amazing thing was that there were 20,000 new people who sent money in. I have over the years always done my fundraising by direct mail. I've never been able to call people up and just say, hey, send me some money. And I don't deal with a special interest. So I've dealt with direct mail. And can you imagine how many direct mail pieces you'd have to mail to get 20,000 new names? Very, very expensive. Hundreds of thousands of new mail. And yet these came up free of charge. We did nothing. All of a sudden they found us, sent in money, they were on our list. It's sort of like on autopilot. It's pretty amazing.
And with regard to Iraq, how quickly can you withdraw all the troops, and what role does the U.S. government have either in domestic or foreign aid once we leave, given what we created the situation?
Well, my position is as soon as possible, and that's overly simplified because how soon as possible. But I would think within a few months. You know, it's not a few years like the other candidates are saying. Even the Democrats are saying, well, 2013, 4 more years. That means in perpetuity. So I would say months, maybe 4 to 6 months, depending on what the military says. But I think the announcement, and if they believed us, would change the nature of everything in that region. And as far as the moral obligation goes, I think it's an immoral obligation to think that we should be the policemen of the world. So we act on an immoral principle to go and impose our will on others by invading them and telling them they are going to live like we do. So I absolutely oppose that. But the more difficult question is well, we've blown their country up. There's depleted uranium over there. We've blown up their bridges, and what are you going to do about it? And that is not as easy. I wished I could put the penalty on those who led us to the war. If we could put all the blame on those who gave the advice and who supported it, including many outside of government. They are the ones who are morally responsible, but that's not possible either. But I have not been able to accept the idea that the penalty should be further placed on the American taxpayer. Because there's two reasons. Is one, they weren't guilty of anything, the innocent taxpayer. And the other reason is that when you give money to rebuild an area and you're not there, that money, just like so much of our money already, what are they missing? $9 billion of cash? They don't know where it went. So just sending more money over there? I would say no. So I'm not willing to tax the American taxpayer more money. And fortunately, the country there has an answer, and that is they're a rich country. They have oil, and I would have to say that that's the way it ought to be paid for. I've argued the case, and it goes over quite well with my crowds, is that the American people are taxed to blow up a country, blow up the bridges, blow up their infrastructure. Then they're taxed to rebuild it, which we're in the process of trying to do right now. At the same time, we're going broke. We have these huge deficits, and we can't even take care of our own bridges. We can't even take care of our own levees. So I would say, yes, we have to give up the whole principle of blowing things up around the world as well as rebuilding. And the sooner we do that, the sooner we can get back to some fiscal sanity.